before we hop into the Master Duel content, we have some new cards to take a look at that were revealed over the weekend. From, I believe it might even be the last remaining cards from Legacy of Destruction over in the OCG. I don't know if there's still anything missing, but they announced like a bunch of different thingies, including a freaking plant circular, which is the worst case scenario. So if you needed any more proof that I am not freaking working for Konami or making any of these decisions, they made a freaking, I haven't read it yet, but they made a freaking plant circular. It's literally a plant and it's called Kickloss the Circular Fairy. So that's a problem. We're gonna look at that one last though. Because I'm content brained. We're gonna look at the plant circular last. We have a couple other things to go through first. We have a new rank 1 Xyz, which is called Tantrum Throwing Tyke. And it requires 2 level 1 monsters. It's a fire, so that's scary. Rank 1 fire, you know, any more level 1 fire support. Once per chain, if the activation of a card or effect is negated, you can attach up to 1 card from each graveyard to this card as material. Oh, that's a very conditional first effect. Gains these effects based on the number of materials attached to it. 1+, gains 700 attack for each material. Can't be destroyed by battle or card effects if it has 4 or more. 8 or more, quick effect, detach 4 materials from this card, destroy all cards on the field. Okay, thank God. This card is just terrible. This card is pack filler. We don't need to talk about it. Like, this condition is incredibly hard to fulfill. To even attach once to it, even once, is very, very hard. And then the only payoff you get is like it can't be destroyed by battle or card effect. So like, you know, in order, like, nah. We don't have to talk about it. This card's not good. Okay, we have Freezing Fire, which is a level 3 fire pyro effect monster. So it's technically a bonfire target. If either player gains life points, you can special summon this card from your hand. Once per turn, if either player gains life points while this monster is on the field, you can make either player gain 1,000 life points. Is this meant to be like the only plant archetype that I can think of, or actually it's not even a plant, but like, is this like Aeromage support or anything like that? I don't know if they even appreciate that, because it's not even a plant. So even if it is like an extender, quote unquote, it's not a plant, so I'm not sure how well they can use it. So I don't know. I don't think this is this doesn't seem very good to me. This is a very conditional extender, and then this second effect is barely relevant. I don't think, you know, I don't think it's good. Then we have One by One We Walk, Frosty Forest Frolicking, Treading in the Tracks. That's a long ass name. Fabulol, thank you for the 2 months. Appreciate you. Welcome back. Quick play spell. If a card other than long ass name is sent to the graveyard, you can banish up to 5 cards from your graveyard face down. Then, if you have 7 or more face down banished cards, your opponent banishes as many cards from their graveyard as possible face down. So, like it's relatively, no, it's too conditional. I mean, like, the ability to banish your opponent's entire graveyard face down is powerful, but it's on a very, very strict condition. Like, a card needs to be sent to the graveyard, then you need to banish 5 cards from your own graveyard face down, and then before even activating it, you already have to have 2 other face down banished cards at least to make your opponent banish their cards. So I don't think it's good enough for like a quick play spell that would ever see play. But yeah, okay. We are really, I think we are towards the end of Legacy of Destruction reveals, right? Like, at this point, do we know the entire set? Or like, almost all of it, because it feels like we're getting a lot of random one of like pack fillers now towards the end. Yeah, it's all out. Okay, so these are like the last remaining. It makes sense. Okay, well, where there's a will, there's a way out, which is a field spell card. You can only use this card name first effect once per turn. During the main phase, the turn player can excavate cards from the top of their deck up to the number of cards their opponent controls. And if they do, they add one of them to their hand, then they place the rest and one card from their hand on the bottom of the deck in any order. Once per turn during the end phase, if the turn player excavated 9 cards or more with this card's effect this turn, they can activate this effect. Shuffle all cards on their opponent's field and graveyard into the deck. So it's like a very weird Pot of Prosperity when you go second. Like if your opponent controls 5 cards, you can look at the top 5 cards of your deck, add one of them. You have to put one other card back, so you do go -1 instantly. Because you have to play this card and then you have to return another card from your hand to the deck. The second effect is almost never gonna happen, right? Because it's the number of cards your opponent controls, right? And you have to excavate 9 cards, so your opponent has to control 9 cards. And I'll be honest with you, if you go second and your opponent has 9 cards, you're not gonna resolve this field spell. If your opponent has 9 cards on the field, the chance that you're able to resolve this card is almost practically 0. Like, it's not gonna happen. So I think this card is not very good, unfortunately. People in chat are saying it has its uses. I personally disagree. I think this card doesn't do enough for the fact that it's almost exclusively able to be used going first, right? Like you going second, I mean. You can't use this card going first because your opponent's not gonna have any cards. So that already makes it pretty much a side deck card only in any normal Yu-Gi-Oh strategy. It tries to go first, right? And then, like, even then, no. -1 to go. A Prosperity would be a much like okay. Compare this card to Pot of Prosperity, which is obviously a really strong card. Pot of Prosperity works going first and going second. Huge bonus. Pot of Prosperity does not rely on your opponent having cards on the field. Also huge bonus. Pot of Prosperity does not go -1. If Pot of Prosperity went -1, it would be a huge difference for the card's viability. Like, I'm not even sure if Pot of Prosperity was like the same card, but you also have to put one other card from your hand back to the deck after you use it. I'm pretty sure the card wouldn't be good. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't play Pot of Prosperity unless you were really, really desperate for consistency if it went -1. I don't think you would. And so I think based off of that, I don't think this card is very useful. Even though it reads pretty cool to be able to out your opponent's entire board, but when you really think about it, most end boards, even the really broken ones, don't have 9 cards. And even then, if they ever have this many cards, you're never going to get to resolve this effect because they're going to have some way to interact with your stuff. Like, that's not going to happen. All right. We have Dino Vader Docus, which is a level 6 dinosaur, Earth. You can only special summon Dino Vader Docus once per turn. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. If you control 2 or more dinosaurs, you can special summon this card from your hand. Okay, easy enough. You can tribute 1 level 4 or lower monster, special summon a dinosaur from your deck that is 2 levels higher or lower than the tributed monster, but destroy it during the end phase. Okay. So, a couple things. It's a dinosaur extender, which is somewhat interesting for the deck, but I'm not sure. Would dinosaur rather have more extenders or more like starter cards? I feel like you would rather have more starter cards. But then even then, this card only works if you already play, right? If you already have your starters, if your stuff is already resolving, if you can already get to 2 dinosaur monsters. And even in that case, I don't even think it does that much for you. Because what are the options here, realistically? Like you can the babies are level 2, and all of your other stuff is pretty much level 4, right? So if you tribute a level 2, if you tribute a baby, you can go into a level 4, which would let you tutor out Misk or Giant Rex or Oviraptor, right? The problem is without Oviraptor, you don't even get to 2 dinosaurs. So you can't really, like, you have probably already used your Oviraptor effect this turn if you have this card on the field, which is a huge downside. And then if you, I guess if you tribute a level 4, you can get into another baby, but how are you going to use that? It seems for the payoff, it doesn't seem worth it, because it's very hard to set this up. It doesn't solve any problems of the deck, and even then, I don't know. I guess the only use I can see for this card, the only actual use I could see for this card is if you tribute a level 4 to get another level 6 from the deck, to make a rank 6 with this card, which you could get like Evolzar Lars probably. The question is, which level 6 dinosaurs do you want to play? Because currently they don't really play any level 6 dinosaurs, and you cannot just summon another Dinovator Docus, because it says you can only special summon Dinovator Docus once per turn. If you special summon one from your hand, you can't summon another one from the deck. So you'd have to play like another level 6 dinosaur that would be worth it. So I don't know, this one is more interesting than the other ones though, because it at least makes you think, right? It at least makes you think about it, right? Because it's like not terrible. It's not terrible. It's just not what dinosaurs need, I don't think. But it's not a terrible card per se. All right, here we are. This dude, Keyclose the Circular Fairy, is a level 4 wind plant monster. I'm scared right now. Mom, pick me up. Okay. A level 4 plant tuner that's called Circular. This is like a nightmare for me right now. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can discard 1 card, add 1 insect or plant tuner from your deck to your hand, except Keyclose the Circular Fairy. If an insect and or plant synchro monster is special summoned while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. This card is pretty good, no? It's not Mathmech Circular level, okay? It's definitely not Mathmech Circular level, but it's definitely not a bad card either. Like, I don't know exactly, because it only searches tuners. I'm not entirely sure how many good targets there are for it, you know, like discard 1 card, what am I adding? Is there like a cool insect or plant tuner that I can instantly add that lets me get going, you know? Like I can add Glow Up Bulb to my deck, to my hand, right? But what's the combo there? At least, and that's the OCG even, because for us it's not even legal, right? But that alone doesn't even do anything, because I'm normal summoning this thing. Then I am discarding a card from my hand to add like Glow Up Bulb, but I don't have a way to get the Glow Up Bulb into the graveyard immediately, so it's a little weird. It's a little weird right there. The second effect is pretty cool because it lets you special summon itself, which gives you like multiple uses out of the tuner. It seems okay. It seems like the kind of card you could send with does Diabolantis could send this to the graveyard, right? The level 8 insect synchro, right? So in theory, if you could summon Diabolantis, send this to the graveyard, and then make another plant or insect synchro, you can bring this back and then search. Okay, I mean, it's an interesting card. I'm not as scared of it because it doesn't seem as broken as Circular. I'm a little okay. I'm calm now again. I'm calm now. It's actually, in terms of its power level, it seems like a pretty balanced card actually. You know, it seems fine. It doesn't seem like a bad card. It definitely has its uses, but I'm okay with this. This seems fine.